Which is funny because it's just kind of like,
Why do you look so sun-kissed?
Do I?
Yeah.
did you go somewhere? Beach?
You got tanned.
The fuck?
Your
So you
face,
took pills for it? What
your
happened
face
afterwards?
looks like, hi, I've been gardening outside.
Okay.
Well, what did I do? Yesterday I stayed home. Saturday, I don't think I even went out.
You went to hospital, right?
I don't know. I didn't notice
That's
anything. But
Hospital.
No.
I was just running with it.
Oh, okay. Are we recording?
I do not know. I don't think so. The
Oh.
numbers aren't going.
Okay. Well. All right. Let's start. I guess all the mic tests are done.
Okay.
Are they done?
I think so. I said like from this one we
How
start.
come you don't have like a monitor to be like?
Oh, we do, but then it's extra
So
work.
annoying.
Yeah.
No, because from this episode we're gonna like record some of the before the official start for like a few,
Few minutes.
like a minute or whatever.
Oh,
and
did they
then-
already start recording and not tell us?
I don't know. But usually there's a timer. That's why I wasn't sure. But they're switching the cameras around.
First
So
one's gonna be us being like,
yeah. So I.
So are we recording or not? Recording?
I'm
Are we
pretty
recording
sure
or
we're
not
recording.
Are we recording?
But let's officially start in 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Ktown Social Club.
Koreatown Social Club.
Yeah. Michael Wan and Michael Kim here hosting, and we're joined again by regulars Ed Choi and Douglas Kim.
Wasn't I supposed to switch with them? No, just kidding.
No, we did the double
Right,
shake,
right.
right? Yeah.
Hey, is that episode edited out? I would try it out.
yeah, I actually wondered that this morning while I was showering.
Wait,
And by
they
morning,
cut it
I mean
out,
like an
right?
hour ago.
No,
I don't
I
know.
think it's coming out tomorrow.
Oh, is it
maybe?
coming out
Yeah.
tomorrow? Oh, okay.
I think it's called Kim versus Kim. Something.
Oh,
like that.
Kim versus Kim.
It's just me versus everyone. Every other episode is just Kim versus Juan, Kim versus Kim. You know, our
Yeah.
thing is probably, soon to be.
It was on the same
One-
episode,
And
right?
it's going to be Kim versus Juan part 2. and Kim versus Kim.
I feel
Kim
like
versus
it's-
everyone.
Doug versus everyone, yeah. But anyway, we're back. Hope you all had a nice weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Did you do anything special, Ed? No.
Nope.
How about you, Michael? Did you do anything special?
I went to the beach, but other than that, watched some news. I checked out some news and watched Crazy Rich Asians again. The movie.
Again?
Because it's on Netflix.
It was on Netflix.
It's, and for some reason, it's like number 3 on Netflix.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
I was like, why?
And I also got to watch that one, TikTok. I
Oh, the
watched it, all
TikTok
3
cult?
episodes. That's crazy, man.
Isn't it
the
crazy?
The
Oh,
so
Korean
it's a-
pastor Richard
It's a documentary.
Robert
then.
Shin.
Yeah.
It's a documentary, Netflix documentary series. Last year they did a Korean cult called 나는 신이다, right?
JMS?
JMS.
You could do a whole series on just Korean cults. There's so many.
There's
Korean
a lot of
cults.
Korean cults.
JMS is insane, though.
It was huge in the 80s. It was big.
It's gotten viral again because there's this girl on TikTok who claims that she was born into JMS and that she's being harassed by JMS
Still.
now.
Is that the
Wow.
church where the pastor was like sexually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With having a bunch of
I
female
mean, is there any
followers.
cult that doesn't have some sort of sexual angle?
Yeah,
to
but
it?
that one was so big. It happened in the 80s and it's still active.
Yeah, I think they have.
Like they're still straggling. And by straggling, I mean like hundreds of members.
Yeah, what I heard was JMS even have like producers inside these famous broadcasting stations like KBS, NBC.
Well, there was
Yeah.
also like
That's how powerful
the
they
Mooney
are.
cult in America.
Mooney
Kind
cult
of.
too. That's
That was
also
the
a Korean
90s
thing.
where they had like group weddings in football stadiums.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one, this girl, she's trying to like take a bunch of people to court for harassing her. And then it ended up being after a year or two, she found out that the police officer who's like in charge of her
also
investigation,
JMS.
he's in JMS and was
Wow.
like throwing out her paperwork and shit.
I mean,
I see.
didn't you kind of get that kind of vibe with this documentary when they were trying to accuse Robert Shin, the leader of this cult, and he was also sexually harassing female.
I feel like Korea should just
followers
pass
there,
a no cult law.
and it felt like they were not being that active about it, right? In that
Cult,
documentary,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think in this one,
implied that.
I think they were probably having a lot of the Korean members come forward to talk.
Why do you think Koreans are so susceptible to cults? Why?
I've been
is
trying to
that?
figure that out since I watched this documentary to make a
I
video.
mean, even
about
if you look at, for example, in the North, they say it's very cult-like,
you
that they
mean-
support their leaders.
yeah.
But even in the South, people who really love you and they really like go hard for him or whoever. Like,
maybe it's like generational Korean trauma. We're just like,
I think it's more kind of like the artificial way of how Christianity was like imprinted onto Korea, really like very almost like forcefully. In
yeah, but there must be a
1950s.
reason why Christianity took on so well too, right? I think
Well, I
it's
mean,
like
it's
in the
'cause-
mindset.
But
Sigmund
JMS is not a
Rhee-
Christian cult, right?
Oh,
it's a completely different cult.
I
like
think
he's
you're right.
he's
yeah,
the
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
No, I
you
know.
know?
I'm just saying
And I
in
think
general,
even with-
not even like just
or even the Moonies.
Even the
He
Moonies-
says he's Jesus' brother, right? He said,
I don't know about that.
something crazy like
and
that.
even this
a
Robert
lot of
Shin
them are
character,
derivatives of
I
Christianity.
mean, there was some audio tape leaked, and he considers himself God, right? I mean, that was
Kinda.
he healed people
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like. He
yeah.
actually probably did heal one, in the right during one
Yeah,
of the TikTok dancers, and that's how this.
Yeah, there
movement
was
started.
one.
You know what it is?
I don't think it was even healing. I think it was just like one crazy coincidence, and now he's like, oh, sweet.
Yeah, people saw it because there was one girl who had this disease, like what kind of disease? I don't exactly know.
I don't remember.
But she was really suffering severely, and he prayed upon her, and people were watching, and she got better the next day or something.
Yeah, literally the next day. She said
and
it
that's
went
how
away.
the word spread out like crazy and got
But-
more followers. And TikTok dancers flocked over to this church. They made a 7M company, and they take away like 50 to 60% of their income.
7M.
7M, yeah.
I think I just figured it out. I think it's isolation. I think Korean culture is like so based in isolation that people crave interpersonal relationships.
I think that's
Are
also.
we based in isolation?
yeah.
I mean, South Korea.
We always say
definitely.
like 우리나라, 우리 집.
We do, but
everything.
from a like living standpoint, like, hey, I'm the parent, you go work, you go do your studying. Like kids are isolated from the parents. Like it's part of our culture.
It is.
It's like put your head down and work. That's all isolation.
So we want to be part of some big thing.
So
or-
I think there's like this like small desire within all of us to like want to connect, and I feel like that's where cults are like, hey, I got what you need.
And I think there are a lot of cult leaders because, Christianity or the Protestant Christianity, which is, prevalent in Korea, it's pretty decentralized, right? There's no central authority.
No.
I think that provides a lot of opportunity for would-be cult leaders to be like, oh, I
Yeah.
could be the guy. I could be this,
Yeah.
king of Korea.
I think it's two of them. I think it's
people.
two. I think it's
Nuts.
like the isolation and then like the opportunistic narcissists see what the Christians did and they're like, oh, I could do that.
You notice wherever there's Koreans, there's lots of churches, even really tiny churches with only a few members. Like, why are there so many Korean churches, so many Korean pastors?
Well,
That's
in
another-
America or
more than
Korea?
American churches here, right? I mean, sometimes
I
I,
would
get that
think-
impression.
Are you asking in America or in Korea?
Well, especially here in
Angeles.
America, like when I lived in the desert in Phelan, the town's population's maybe 15,000. And out of that, I saw at least 10 Korean churches out there in the desert.
Whoa, that's
But
great.
a lot of them are like in the backyard of the house or, but there's lots of, decent sized churches there. I just thought, why are there so many churches here?
I think because of business purpose too.
Business and
need
community
networking,
here.
and the best way to network, you have to join some kind
But
of.
if that were true,
religion,
then
I think.
why wouldn't Taiwanese people be more Christian? Because they're more connected than we are.
But
Is it-
they
but-
are.
but the
In
business-
America,
In America.
almost every Asian American is Christian.
Taiwanese too, right?
Yeah, even
Oh,
Chinese.
you mean like the connected, like
yeah,
business
Taiwanese,
leaders.
Chinese, even them.
Vietnamese? I don't know
Vietnamese
about
is
those.
more
Vietnamese,
Catholic,
I don't think,
because
yeah.
they were French,
Which is
Catholic.
Christian, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Christian,
yeah.
but I think they all do it for like community reasons. You
I
come
think so,
here,
too. I think
you
most of
don't
them
know,
do.
but like if you go to
Many of them,
church on a
yeah.
weekly basis, you get to hang out with people who like resonate with you. You could talk shit to and like whatever.
Because I think they do kind of help each other out.
They
if you
do.
If you have like
Yeah,
a mom and pop shop,
it doubled as like a
Yeah.
community sort of
it's
congregation,
like that. So
like especially conclaves and
Yeah.
yeah, and I think
So I think it's a little different in America than like in Asia. But I think a lot of Asian cultures, but Korean specifically, is like so isolated. And then there's like so many also narcissistic, crazy people who are like, I'm gonna take advantage of this.
So when we choose a Korean church, we have to be very careful because maybe a lot of them are not run by.
That's why I
possible,
stopped going.
Possible. You
Yeah,
used to
that's
go
why
to a Korean church?
Yeah, I like grew up. If you're a Korean American born here, you probably grew up in a Korean church, and I did. And as soon as I graduated high school, I like never went to church again
Why was that?
because like as I turned 17, I realized that like one of my closest like the kids in my youth group, her mom wouldn't come once in a while. And then when I was 17, right before I graduated, I found out it's because her husband, who was like a really high up deacon at her church, was beating her.
Secretly beating her.
Yeah, like beating her. And then like I caught one of them like talking shit about my mom. And then I was like, you know what? Like church people are still people. They're flawed. They're horrible.
They are.
It's like what Gandhi said. He said like, I think I would become a Christian if Christians acted more like Christ.
Yeah,
I mean that's kind of funny coming from someone who raped little girls. But yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I thought he just slept with them, like next to him.
Well,
I didn't know that, but okay.
Oh, I assumed that's what that meant.
Oh, the Michael Jackson treatment?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You thought he was innocent, though.
I don't know. I mean,
I still don't know about Michael Jackson.
I don't. Yeah,
and I can't tell if it's like
I'm still on the
my childhood thing or like factual thing.
Oh, you think you
Yeah, but I don't know how to feel about Michael Jackson either.
Yeah,
there was a lot of perfidy that was going on.
But he was also like really messed up from his childhood.
He was,
you know, so it's like you could
dad.
kind of see how maybe he was innocent, but like, that sounds improbable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But
So that was your weekend.
how about you, Doug?
Oh, it was a weekend story.
Yeah, you talked about all your. Yeah.
I mean, I saw Furiosa after last week.
Furiosa.
Furiosa. How was it? Mad Max series?
Yeah, it was just kind of like it was all right. It wasn't terrible.
It was a box
wasn't
office
great.
bomb. They
Yeah,
Sorry,
bombed
who's in this?
Bomb?
What is this?
What's the girl's name?
Mad Max.
It's a blonde hair
Taylor
girl.
Joy.
The blonde hair girl.
Anya Joy Taylor. Taylor Joy.
Brianna Joy.
Taylor. Taylor.
The
Joy?
girl.
Whichever one.
Taylor
The
Joy.
girl in
Is it Taylor Joy?
Mario.
The one with like the
The one from Queen's Gambit.
Queen's
that are-
Gambit.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What's it called?
far
Queen's
apart.
Furiosa.
A Mad
Furiosa?
Oh,
Max story. or
Furiosa.
something. Mad Max saga.
So many streams of talking right now.
Yeah.
But I
Did you go to-
somehow heard all of them.
Yeah, Furiosa.
So how was
that
it?
One,
It was okay.
And Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah.
Anna Taylor-Joy. Yeah.
Ooh, she looks familiar.
She's from Queen's Gambit. She was the main character from Netflix. Remember the chess show?
Oh, Peaky Blinders.
I don't really like her.
Did she do plastic
as an
surgery?
actress.
She did, right?
I
I
don't know.
like her as an actress. She kind of seems like she'd be not a nice person in real life.
Oh, I don't really care about that.
Oh, you don't think she's a nice person in real life? Arrogant?
I can't tell.
I know.
She has this like when she acts. There's like this like.
Oh,
I just thought she was terrible in Peaky Blinders. I was like, oh my god, like because she was acting opposite, freaking Cillian Murphy, and I was like, oh my god.
But don't you
Oh my
kind of think
God, I
they're
didn't watch
pushing?
Oh yeah, she was the wife, right?
They're pushing
She
her
was
to be big. You know, she was on
the
Mario
sister-in-law.
Brothers.
There's all
Oh
these
yeah, she was
conversations.
Princess
Yeah,
Peach.
she was
you're right.
Princess
She
Peach.
was Princess Peach.
So she's everywhere. All these
It's
prominent
because
movie
she's
roles.
she's got a very pretty, unique look, I think. So I think
Okay.
they are trying to push it.
I think her big thing was the
Queen's Gambit.
no. Before that, it was the M Night Shyamalan movie, Split. She was one of the four
that was a
girls
good one.
that were
Split was a good one.
hostages.
Oh,
I
she
think
was
so,
one of the
yeah.
hostages. Right, right.
Anyway,
You
so
watched-
How
that's
was your
what you
weekend?
did.
That
What
was
else did you
good,
do?
and then just read about Stalin, Hitler, and Lenin all week.
As usual,
Yeah,
As
that's
Researching.
nothing different.
learning,
For my-
always
yeah,
learning.
Always
Yeah,
learning.
I thought
Studying-
you arrived.
I
You
spend
didn't-
like
you-
I actually spend like 3 to 4 hours just reading a day.
Wow.
Were you always a reader like that?
No, I mean,
Or the
I
pandemic
think when I
made
was
you
a
that way?
kid,
Okay.
Yeah, when I was a kid.
when I was like,
Because you were
8,
forced
9,
to.
10, a little bit of that, but also just like, my mom would actually just take me to libraries just to, hang out in the fiction section, and I would just read for like a couple hours, and then we'd leave.
Did you read Encyclopedia Brown
I probably did, but I don't remember.
and R.L. Stein's Goosebumps?
I definitely did R.L. Stein.
Yeah.
Definitely did like some other mystery type.
You didn't do the
stuff.
Judy Blume stuff.
Scary
Right?
No, not
stories
Judy
in the
Blume.
dark. Oh, I liked.
Oh,
I liked
more
Judy Blume. Fudgemania.
I never watched. I mean, I never read her books.
But yeah,
Dominion?
more recently. So in 2019, I think I was pretty depressed, just because I was wondering if I should still be in the industry anymore, the entertainment industry, and my mom was just like, you used to just like read a lot, so why don't you just do that? And then I just read and like all this stuff about like tech giants and like how they got their stuff, and media giants as well, like
yeah.
Ovitz, Michael Ovitz,
Bob
was the
Iger,
CIA,
right?
Bob Iger.
I saw that.
And then
Yeah.
and then during the pandemic, I just started reading about communism, And then my mom was like not happy about the changes
Why did you
that
jump
were
into
going
communism
on.
out of the blue? Out of
You got to
all
know your
those
enemy,
books?
right?
Out of all those books.
The first thing that
No, but
got me
but
into
you
it
trying to
was
make it
Malcolm
big in
X.
Hollywood.
So Malcolm X was just kind of like a really eye-opening book about America. It basically made me question everything America told me about everything.
So you were a true believer of America prior to that, it seems like.
When I was growing up, I was a true believer. Like when
Same
when
here.
2001 September 11th happened, for example, I actually considered going to West Point. Because like
I think we all did too, but I wasn't very serious about it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna kick some ass. I was like, no, I'm not.
You didn't watch that documentary after years later?
I
What was that
didn't apply
documentary
because,
regarding 9/11?
Loose change?
Yeah.
I didn't see
Loose
it. No.
change.
No.
You didn't watch that? That made me doubt a heck of a lot.
I saw
mean,
Zeitgeist.
I didn't start
Zeitgeist, too.
thinking about 9/11 more until the past year or so, and then I saw this other stuff that was coming out about USS Liberty and all this other stuff. But
The day Israel
besides all
attacked
that-
America.
Besides all of that, I was named after MacArthur, and I knew MacArthur went to West Point, and West Point was in New York. I actually went there a few times for track meets, so I was like, oh, I could go there, but I was like, yeah, my parents would probably kill me if I didn't apply to all the Ivy
So you used to
Leagues
run
instead.
too?
Yeah, I used to run. I used to do cross country and track.
Wow.
That's kind of crazy that your parents named you after MacArthur.
Really, I think it's not. I mean, it's not super common, but I know a fair amount of Korean Douglases.
They should have called you John or Alan after the Dulles brothers.
Oh God,
No. Okay.
I don't think they even know who those people
I
are.
feel like
Or Dwight.
if you read a bunch of biographies, you'll eventually read Malcolm X or Mein Kampf.
I mean, I've read,
Yeah,
I've
both.
read Mein Kampf.
Mein Kampf is not an easy read, though.
It's like so stupid. It's like
But
so
neither
long
are
and boring.
biographies. I feel like it's like a natural progression.
Well, Malcolm X's biography, he actually dictated it to a writer who wrote it, so it's hard to tell.
Alex Haley.
Yeah. I think Mein Kampf was the same thing too, where Hitler dictated his whatever
Somebody
to
else
this
wrote it?
guy. Apparently, he had this like ridiculous like title for it. Like it's like this long ass title, and the editor was like, just make it Mein Kampf. It's like, all right.
Okay. Did you do anything else besides reading?
Besides reading, watched in the past couple weeks, I probably watched around 4.5 seasons of Young Sheldon.
Yeah, Young Sheldon has been streaming on Netflix,
It's surprisingly good.
On Netflix.
Yeah, because like apparently the the series finale, it just ended, like season 7. This
And-
Netflix only shows up to 6 seasons. So I think like what
okay.
companies are trying to do is like show all the seasons except for the last one, so you have
Why
to
is
like
that?
pay for
Yeah, they
their
do that.
service.
They do that.
Yeah. Mine's not as interesting, but I noticed that with Jersey Shore. Yeah, so they're like recording a new season, and I was like, oh, where can I watch that to have it play while I'm doing stuff? No, you have to pay for it.
They did it with Suits, too. The
Did it
last
with
couple
Suits.
seasons
Well,
is
they
not
weren't
on
planning a
Netflix.
next season or like a spin-off season until Suits did really well. But they did it with Beverly Hills Cop. Cause like
Beverly Hills Cop
they're
3
releasing
the new one is coming out.
So then they also released the first 3 on Netflix, so you can catch up with the character before you watch it.
Okay. Great.
Thanks,
So yeah, that
Netflix.
was my week. I
Great
guess.
weekend, everybody. All right.
Wait, did you watch Big Bang Theory?
I watched the first like few seasons, and then it just got kind of repetitive.
I just don't like it.
Yeah,
Big
I
Bang
was just
Theory.
like,
I didn't watch it that much.
it was just like something like to turn on while you're eating something, and you're just like, oh,
Okay.
okay, whatever. And then after you're
All
done
of
with
it
your meal-
seemed just like so fake and crass. It was
Yeah.
just like too crass.
But you're saying the spin-off is
It's
better.
like a stupid person's idea of what a smart.
Yeah,
people
and that
are
annoyed me. And I feel like also the way they portray autism in the show
Yeah.
is.
I mean, yeah.
eh.
As someone who has it.
All right. Well,
whatever.
let's start the
Like,
show
it's-
now.
How was your weekend?
Oh, I
you-
went to a 첫돌 돌잔치 on Saturday.
돌잔치.
Friend I haven't seen in a year and a half, and his wife who I haven't seen in 3 years,
Oh, okay.
and their daughter. Guess what she grabbed? You know the
Mike.
thing where you gotta grab?
Money?
Mike.
No,
What did she wear?
pencil,
Pencil. So she's gonna be a.
right.
like scholar
yeah,
or
scholar.
something. Yeah.
Ugh.
I put it. I bet it on her being an artist like her father, but no, she grabbed the pencil, and yeah, that was fun to see a friend's daughter's pool, and There were a lot of non-Koreans there.
1-year-old, right?
Yeah,
1 year
that's
old.
the first birthday, for those who don't know. And it was held at the Intercontinental. That's
downtown LA.
the building owned by Korean Air, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It was on like the 69th floor for some reason. It's called Decadence, and they had a buffet. And there was
There's
like
a restaurant called Decadence on the 69th
with
floor.
double K, like DEKKA or something.
Did you like the food? I tried it there.
You've been there?
I think so once.
And people
Yeah.
patron the
There was a
place?
press conference, so that's why.
No, there's like eggs, country potatoes, pancakes, sausage, bacon, and there's like a Mexican station with Spanish rice, beans. What's it called? The goat birria, except with beef, carnitas.
I feel like no one eats actual goat birria. They all eat beef. 'Cause
It's always beef.
It's always beef.
Yeah. And then on yesterday, I just went out for lunch in West Hollywood and went for a walk. I was like, oh, it's a nice day for a walk. So I walked around for about 12 minutes, maybe.
I just shoot things.
12 minutes.
I just went to walk
That's
around a
good.
couple blocks, and then I just got back to my car, went back home. So yeah, that's it for me. It was pretty decent. Maybe that. Oh, that's why I was.
That's why you
It's
were
the
so
walk
good.
that I
That
took.
12 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Told you.
Ooh, the eye. Got an
Were
eye.
you wearing a shade?
No, that's the thing. Is like, I didn't realize 12
Sunscreen.
minutes
12
outside
minutes
could do
can
that.
do that.
Yeah.
Can do that. It can
Okay.
do that. LA sunshine.
Well, maybe it was more than 12. Maybe it was like 15.
Figured it out. The mystery is solved.
Yeah.
Mystery song.
Anyway, yeah. Apparently, I look red today.
No, I said sun-kissed.
Sun kissed. Okay. Kissed by the sun. All right. So now let's start the
Sun-kissed.
show. It's been over 20 minutes now. But,
by just saying.
we're finally going to get
Talking
into
about
it.
our
We got 3 topics for this
weekends.
episode. So that leaves us about 13 minutes per. So let's
whatever.
Jeez.
go. Now let's start. The first thing is we're going to talk about self-hating Asians. You know about this? A lot of Asians always put down their own community. Doug knows about this.
Yeah.
I know about this. Do you know about this, Michael? You don't really see that in Korea,
No,
right?
didn't I tell you about one of the officials in City Hall? He seemed to.
The Korean guy, right?
Yeah, who really hates Koreans. and
Yeah,
stuff.
because you were interviewing this guy of Korean descent who works in City Hall,
Yeah.
and you mentioned something about Koreatown or Korean people, and he got really upset. What did he say to you?
He said, "Don't ever mention Koreatown stuff to me. You know, I represent the city, not Koreatown, and don't even talk about Korean issues and stuff like that."
And he even spells his last Korean name in like a weird way,
yeah,
right? So it
you
doesn't
wouldn't-
look Korean.
Yeah, it doesn't look Korean.
You know, like if somebody spells Kim, like Keam, Kim, something like that.
Yeah, and he was like, I was recording him during the interview, and he was like this: "If you mention one more Koreatown stuff, you know." And the main reason why I requested the interview in the first place was because he was a Korean American.
It probably
official,
pissed
I
him
wouldn't
off,
name.
huh?
I would have been like, this is now a recorded interview video.
I'd be like,
Korea. I would have been like, and it's recording now? Koreatown.
Yeah, but I.
all right, chink.
So
That's what I would have said.
So I was analyzing why is he this way. So probably something bad happened to him while he was growing up.
He was probably teased,
Always.
like Gordon Chang.
Yeah.
But if he hates Koreans, does it mean that he hated his peers? Sometimes his
Yeah.
peers
Wait,
can make.
what
fun
about
of him,
his-
right?
his-
Probably because he couldn't speak Korean.
Who's
at
he
all.
married to? Is he married to a Korean or?
No, he's married to a white lady.
See, he hated the Korean side so much. He's like, I gotta get someone non-Korean.
Yeah.
I was taken
internalized
aback.
racism is a rampant thing.
Wait, why
internalized.
are you bringing it up? All was there an event?
No,
that
because he was
happened
talking
recently?
about.
Well, I saw 2 videos over the last few days. I'm going to play one of them here and then another one. So this was put by Hear Me Out. I guess he was commenting on it, but let's take a listen. So you can see an Asian woman with he looks
this is a couple that
a
Doug
white
doesn't
guy,
like.
and it says,
It's not that I don't. It's not.
no.
Mind virus.
Yeah, no, but okay.
Mind virus.
So it's okay.
Or it's not that I don't like it. I'm saying that there are political and media implications
Don't
behind
know,
it.
because ever
Comparing.
since you guys mentioned it,
No,
I have
it's-
this alert
yeah,
system
but
now.
you're-
I didn't have this.
But you
alert
notice
system.
it, right? You notice
I
it.
noticed it after talking with you,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
have mentioned it beforehand. I didn't even think about it twice. But
But I
now
opened your eyes,
Right.
right?
check out these.
I opened your
He
eyes.
opened your yeah.
Play the video.
So it says Happy AAPI Month, Asian American Pacific Islander
was
Month.
last month, right?
So let's see what they are going to do for Happy
Okay.
AAPI Month.
Hear me out on this. Which is far worse? Self-hating
I watched
Asian
his
woman
videos.
being so Asian man, an Asian coach who thinks it's okay and hilarious as a skit when they're with the white guy to down talk Asian men, or just Asian hate crime overall. Let me know what you guys think. It's Hear Me Out.
So
I don't see the part where she shat on Asian guys.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but what's the ching chong thing?
Yeah,
and then here's another one.
Oh God.
This is, I guess, she's from China. Her name's Vicky, and I guess she lives in Australia now. And apparently she does stand-up comedy.
Well, she was definitely the public bike there, but
so let's take a listen to this. I mean, maybe it's just comedy, but let's take a listen. If the Wi-Fi ever works,
Wi-Fi is not
from
allowing
the
it.
90s.
So that one, do you think they even had a video clip about the white guy making fun of himself? I was wondering whether they just shortened it.
No, because it was for AAPI month, right? Anyway, I guess she says, as Chinese, we both are cheap and easy to break and a threat to national security. And then Shanghai Panda says, Vicky betrayed her mother country and people, and she even relies on insulting them to make money. She is so disgusting. Anyway, she's got a comedy show in Melbourne on June 13th at 8 p.m. So go check it out if you're into this kind of comedy. And yeah, so, you know, what do you guys think about this? It seems like in this, you know, with all this cool Asian stuff out with BTS and like movies,
K-drama,
cars,
movies, yeah,
and food and everything, like, why are there still it seems like so many Asians are still like,
it's remnants of of basically, like, our generation is probably like the last of the remnants of this kind of like openly self-hating behavior, because it gets attention. It gets, you know, especially attention from white people, particularly white men, who they are very much into. It's, you know, it's essentially like, you know, in the West, who has all the power, right? White guys, right? And so they're trying to ingratiate themselves by saying, "Oh, look at me. I'm not really Asian. I'm cool. I get it. I get why Asians suck. Like, pick me. They're just being pick-me's." It's not that complicated.
So this is a real thing. Like, they self-hating Asians.
This has been a long thing for a long fucking time.
It's
No,
internalized
I'm wondering
racism.
whether they're making fun of themselves or trying to make other people funny, or they really just want to make fun of Asians in general.
See, what ends up happening is
what they're trying to
when
do
you
with.
live in an area that's predominantly white and you don't have an Asian community, you get obsessed with like integration. You just want to be like everyone else. Like, you're tired of being picked out. You're tired of everyone stopping everything. Every time you walk in the room and they just stare at you.
You want to be part of the group.
You just want to be accepted. And like that at some point turns into hating your identity because it's what makes you stand out when you don't want the attention.
Probably this would happen like grade school, junior high, or high school students, because, like, you know, I came here during college, and you already assume international student, right? So you're starting off differently, so you don't feel as much. But probably, I think second gens feel.
Yeah, I
mean, it's kind of
kids are more cruel too. You came when you were like an adult. Kids are like, you know, you watch Sesame Street where they're like, which of these are different? And they're like, hey, in real life, you're different. You know what I mean? So it's like.
Do you have that experience growing up as a kid, trying to fit in, and then maybe putting down your own?
100%.
You were brought up in East Coast, right?
It took me a really long time to work through the internalized racism, because that's exactly what happens. You're just like, I just want to like stick. I just like want to fit in. I just want to be accepted like everyone else, and then it almost becomes this thing where you're like, become prideful that you're like
one of the cool Asians.
Cool Asians. Well, but like, it's really more like, instead of being picked on, you're like, have been accepted. You know what I mean? And somewhere along the line, you do start making fun of the things that like you made you different, because you're like, oh, look, I'm not different. Remember, we're the same. You know what I mean?
Or it can also manifest like, we're like, oh, I'm not Chinese, I'm Korean. That's different.
Yeah. Know? That happened too, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
So how did you have therapy, or you figured it out on your own? Like, how did it happen? Like,
I don't think anyone.
I mean, for kids, it must be traumatic. I would think.
I think moving away from the East Coast was step one.
And coming to LA.
Yeah. That's why, like, I really talk to people now. I'm like, it's really important that you find an Asian community. Like, whether it's online, whatever it is. Because, like, people write in all the time now. They're like, oh, I live in, like, in Oklahoma. And I'm like, yeah, you need to find
out of there.
If you can, you need to at least find an Asian community where, like, people can relate and you no longer have to, like, work so hard to integrate. And
Right.
You can just be accepted.
And yeah, and how about you, Doug? Do you? I mean, you. I
lived in a little bit more liberal area. With the, yeah, it was mostly like Italian. My sister told me to correct this. Apparently, I said it was highly WASP, but she was like, no, there was more Italian and Irish and Jewish. And then so here's me correcting it, Janet. She watches the show.
Oh, she does? Okay.
Yeah, so.
So you didn't really have those experiences?
I think for me, because I was, on the spectrum, I think I was bullied both at school and at church and at Korean school.
Wow.
So I thought everyone was a fucking asshole. So I don't really attribute race to why I was being picked on. I just thought everyone was a piece of shit. So I just kind of like developed, like I think during my adolescence, I started watching Jim Carrey and kind of like how he, used humor to kind of like judo move some sort of like insults against other people.
You said there's similarities.
I felt that way. The way you make your facial expression, sometimes it reminds me of Jim Carrey. Did people say that?
Is that intentional?
Like,
they did, right?
He's a character, like a lot of the characters in his early movies are basically like he seems like the clown at first, but then like it shows that he's actually smarter than everyone else, and he proves it. And that's kind of like what I would gravitated towards, like using my intellect as a weapon. And just like undressing bullies like intellectually.
When you were bullied, did you fight back during the church year? When you're going to church, school,
I did.
And all.
I think like I realized early on that you have to hit back.
But when you hit back, doesn't it dissipate that they kind of back down?
A little bit. You have to experiment with there are different types of people and different types of things, and so you kind of learn different types of patterns. But overall, I think, obviously, when I was in high school, I was more cognizant of racial stuff. But I think like I was always like, I never like was like, oh, I never did anything to make white people comfortable about myself. Like if I hated being Korean, sometimes it was just like because I hate other Koreans. Because like the way they treated me, I was like, "Fuck you, you stupid fucking idiot!" like what,
Right.
But it wasn't because I hated them because white people hated them.
Right.
Because like when it was funny because like when white people would be making fun of Asians when I was growing up, I'd like be angry at that. So I'd be like turning around against them. But yeah, I was just like very. Aggressive.
You were. Everyone was.
But does it mean that you didn't have white friends or other race friends too?
I had white friends,
but not a lot
in high school. Like they were mostly Jewish because like most of my classes were honors.
Jews are considered kind of right in that white area. No,
they are white in my opinion.
Yeah.
But three of us, we were born in the U.S., right?
Yeah. Yes, I was born in New York.
And you had to think about that?
Wait, but you were born in the U.S. too,
I was
right?
born here, yeah.
Yeah, I was born here too, and I my first living place was in Koreatown for the first few years, and then moved to the Valley, and I went to school with a bunch of mostly white students, and yeah, it's true what Ed says. Like over time, like you want to fit in, but people keep making fun of you about certain things, and then for me personally, it was more like. Before those jokes were made, I would make them first. So I felt like that was a way, like
defense mechanism.
Yeah. So as long, like they would say like, "Oh, you're a sumo wrestler," or "You own a Chinese restaurant." So I'd be like, "Yeah, I own a Chinese restaurant. I like sumo, whatever." Because if I said it first, if they're gonna laugh anyway, at least if I'm saying it rather than them, then I can look like I'm a good sport or whatever, and then have quote unquote friends. Although they're really only there to,
Yeah. So that's what you notice about those friends is like when it like, played to them, they would say things like, "Ed, but you're the whitest person I know." And then I was like, "Oh, what have I done?" Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, "What have I gotten myself into?" Is like kind of what you.
So there was a time when you were kind of trying to fit in for a while.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was, maybe even in my early 30s where it really like I realized like a lot of the friends that I had, white friends that I had, they didn't really see me as an equal.
No.
It was actually a shroom trip. and I could like hear them talking about me from afar. I don't know what shrooms it enhances your hearing. I could hear everything they were saying.
You got superpower hearing that?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it was like able to pick up little minuscule sounds and like amplify it in my ear, and I'm like, oh my god, like they don't really see me as a friend. They don't see me as like I'm just like a token Asian guy.
You
like,
are.
Hey, whenever they want to go eat Korean barbecue, they call me. So like, hey, can you talk to the waiter? Can you grill the meat? You know what soju to get? You know, this stuff like that.
Right.
But
There's no
if they have a movie night at their house, I wouldn't get invited to that.
Or like at best, they're
That's
like
how you know the difference.
They're like you're their friend because like they want to be like, yeah, see, I'm not racist.
I have an Asian friend.
Yeah.
And then here's the thing: when I started getting more radicalized in my views and I started talking more, then suddenly they turn against you. They're like, "Well, why are you here?" And these are liberals. These are leftists.
Usually conservatives don't do it that way, right?
Well, conservatives I expected, but I didn't. You don't expect that from
liberal Democrats.
what you think are liberals or whatever Democrats. And I'm like, well, these fuckers are bad.
I even spent like my 20s trying to get with like the hottest white girls. So I'd be like, not only am I the cool Asian,
but I'm the top.
I'm better than you. You know what I mean? Like I am whiter than you are. Not like whiter, but like in class. You know what I mean? Like
you can do better.
Yeah, I'm like more desirable than you are, and you're white. You know what I mean? So like that even became a thing, and like those like comics annoy me because as a content creator now, I see so many Asian content creators who like fall back on like Asian accents and like, oh, this is how my mama talk, and it's like even that stuff. It just like every time I see something and I like think of like how would little Ed react if he was being made fun of this because some kid watched it on social media, and like that stuff bugs me because like it's different than like when people are like, oh, like Chris Rock and all these other comedians, they like make fun of everyone, including their own community. But it's like different.
It is.
They like make fun of it in a way where like the people of the community, it's like an inside joke.
Yeah.
When people do stuff like accents and stuff like that, it's like making fun of your own community on how white people think it would be funny.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the stuff where it's like you're not making fun of your own community. You're like laughing at your own community at the expense of your community versus like Joe Coy who'll say stuff and you're like, oh, I get that because I'm Asian. You know what I mean? It's like you maybe won't get that because you're not. You know what I mean? It's different.
Right.
Is he the Filipino comedian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So, I'm guessing Gen Z is not going to be that way. Gen Z Asians because they grew up with the cool Asians.
I mean, I think Gen Z is bifurcated into polarized things. I think there is a growing movement of people who are just proud to be Asian and like.
I think that is.
But I think
true.
there is still a subsection.
I think there's a lot. I mean, you just have to remember. Yes, there's a lot of us here in LA, but there's also a lot of Asians in Middle America who are like one of the only Asians in their town, and they're going to go through it. They're going to continue to keep going through it.
No matter how big K-pop is or BTS is, they have
because they're alone.
I've got relatives in like El Paso, Kentucky, Tennessee,
and they need to find a community so that they don't hopefully fall into the same patterns we did, where they think that they have to placate themselves to be accepted.
And the interesting thing is all the women on that side of the family, they're all with white dudes, and the men are with Korean women from Korea or like some other Asian. Anyway, I'm sure Doug has thoughts about that.
Well, I don't think that's always like women either. I think it's like women are just, I think some of those Asian women are like, this is what's available to me, but they end up with white men because I think these white men are like fetishizing them super hard.
Maybe it goes
like
both
going
ways.
after them really hard.
There's fetishizing on both
I agree.
ways.
I'm not saying that there isn't. Yeah. I'm not saying that there isn't.
In both like AF situation.
Yeah, it's not just white guys that have an Asian fetish. It's some Asians have a white fetish.
I actually think that there's more fetishization going on in the Asian women's direction, like Asian women fetishizing white men nowadays. I think it used to be that white men obviously had
but it's not
fever.
like all white male are cool. Look at all the entertainers. Okay, people like
Doug
Brad
has
Pitt,
said
Tom
that.
Cruise. I mean, those, and then there are like white people who like super fat and and not
I've taught him well.
charismatic.
Doug will post pictures of like the most pastiest looking white dudes. Like this is superior.
What do you mean? I already knew it. That's just
I just
do it now.
That goes without saying.
I just watched.
He's an expert.
I just saw this like
okay, like if Michael Jordan dates around girls, I think any white girl would date probably Michael Jordan.
Sure.
Back in their
Except
heyday.
Coulter.
So that's just what I'm saying. I had a friend who was a major league scout for Detroit Tigers, He was a second gen like you guys, and he told me that first off when he started off like grade school, junior high, he had a bunch of white friends, black friends, and all a mixture. But he said it started to suddenly change after college. Like Asians would eat with Asians in the the mess hall, and white would eat with white, blacks would eat with black, and he became very conscious about it afterwards, and during the college years. And why is it hitting us later? Why? I mean, and he said they were friends, but he said he doesn't talk to them anymore.
Wait, why does what hit us later?
Well, yeah, like when we're in elementary, we mingle more, but then by the time you get to high school, it's pretty segregated.
Like they were really
at the lunch
close,
tables.
and they would share like even personal stories like until junior high school. But all of a sudden they changed.
I think once you get to the age where you start like dating and all that, maybe that's why.
Yeah, and he said it was a dramatic change.
Yeah, when class all of a sudden starts becoming important, you're like, oh, you're not cool. Well, why aren't you cool? It's because you're not.
And I had this Korean girl, and her name was... Anyway, she sat next to me because she also had the name Kim, and that class, we all sat by our last names, and I would ask her, like, so where are you from? Because I wanted just to hear her say Korean. She wouldn't say it. She's like, why do you need to know? Like, she hated it.
Even though she's Korean.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, she was like a fob.
No, she's like, just like me, but she was like, grew up in a white area like her whole life. And this was in middle school, and then finally after I just kept pestering her, she said, I'm Korean, okay? Like she didn't even want to say that she was Korean, and she only hung out with the white kids.
Wait, but how did she not? What I thought you were asking, where are you from, as in like what area?
Well, I meant
of America?
Yeah, like what are you? That's what I meant. Like where's your family from? Like,
Wait,
what's
you
your
figure
what's
it
your
out
blood?
with her last name Kim?
No, I wanted her to say it because she never talked about Asian stuff.
Oh.
She was always with the white people. I just kind of
You were like, say it.
Yeah, because probably in pop culture it was very rare to see any kind of Asian characters. Like all.
So
like,
what are you? Japanese, Chinese,
even the
No,
comic.
Korean? What's that?
No. What I'm saying is like even comic book characters. Like DC, Marvel, they're all white, right? Like Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent.
I mean, people are literally
Diana
throwing a
Prince
shit
and
right
Peter
now
Parker.
because there is an Asian Jedi.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that true? I didn't get.
He literally just had an article come out where he talks about all the racist.
I know he talked about it. No.
Which is funny
Okay,
because
this Star Wars
it's all based
thing-
on Japanese samurai
It is.
cultures.
It is. No. But what I
Like the Darth Vader hat that's like fucking
No,
samurai.
I mean, George Lucas said it.
Okay. So
Yeah.
What George Lucas said, they're all aliens, right?
No, he said that he got the influence from watching samurai.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Kurosawa,
Yeah,
Akira.
okay.
No, but I think.
All right, we gotta wrap this topic up.
Oh, all
soon.
right, okay. But just by this point, Leslie Headland, she's a director for that, and she's lesbian. And I think there was some attack about, because I heard that on the third episode, there's like girl mingling with each other. I think it's gonna start coming out. The force is on the female, and they were attacking that. And somehow this establishment side, I'm talking about Kathleen Kennedy and the Lucasfilm people, were putting Lee Jung-jae as a shield. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you guys are attacking him as being Asian Jedi. But I've never seen any program, and I'm watching a lot of Star Wars content makers. They never mentioned about Lee Jung-jae.
I'm sure the content makers aren't, but are you reading the comments?
They actually praised him being a good actor, but probably his English skill is not up to par for the show because English is
the
but
press
other
is
than
not
that-
going
No,
to.
the press isn't, but there's probably a bunch of people in the comics being like, "Oh, Disney's being so woke, Asians." Like,
I think most
For
of them
sure.
most of them are directed towards that female angle, the female forces
okay.
female
Anyway.
angle, or whatever.
Let's wrap that up. Let's hope the self-hating Asian thing dies out within the next couple decades. I hope. You know,
think
as
it's gonna
Wait,
die?
I mean,
Asia continues to rise.
Was there?
and all.
It
was
will
just
die
those
out,
things
no?
that made you bring it up? I mean,
I don't
it's
know.
not
Yeah,
an
not
issue
I
for.
wanted us to talk about it, and
Oh.
we talked about our
I mean,
experience.
So you're saying
and-
don't live in countryside, right?
yeah,
okay?
Yeah, get the fuck out.
do not emigrate your children.
Did you watch
to
Get Out
middle
the movie?
America.
Yeah,
That's
I was
the
about
movie
to
you
talk
need-
about that. The
you
Get
need-
Out
You need
movie.
to get the fuck
They
out.
said
All
they
right,
voted for Obama.
all
right?
right.
Honestly, just come to SoCal. Like, fuck the East Coast
Okay,
too.
so I voted for
so
Obama,
expensive,
so
though, for
therefore
a lot
I'm
of
not a
people.
It
racist,
is,
right?
it
That
is,
was
yeah.
the movie. That was in the movie
Right,
film Get
okay.
Out. Right?
So we're done with the self-hating Asians. Let's move on to our next topic. You hear about this rape case in Korea from 20 years ago?
What, Milyang?
Yeah, right. Did
no.
you guys hear about it? Let me read about it real quick. So
what the fuck is this Donnie Darko
man.
shit?
what happened was 20 years ago, actually maybe,
After someone watched Donnie Darko, the timeline is like
yeah, maybe.
right in there.
It's like season 2 Squid Games. What
So
is
this is in 2004 in South Korea. That's when I was living there. It said as many as 120 male high school students gang raped several middle school and high school girls over the course of 11 months.
Ew, what the fuck?
120?
The case provoked controversy due to police mistreatment of the victims and lenient handling of the others. So the perpetrators were from...
Why is this back again? Did they just get released?
I'm going to tell you what's going on, right? So it's, what is it, Miryang, right? Miryangshi. Okay, so anyway, this one girl was raped up to 10 times by 3 to 24 high school boys in each occurrence. At least 44 boys were involved in the attacks over a period of 11 months. The girl was ordered to bring her 13-year-old sister and 16-year-old cousin, where the cousin was assaulted. But anyway, so the attackers also extorted money from their victims. Now, the sister's aunt reported the rapes, and then 3 of the boys were arrested, and there were protests from the victims and public, and then there were 9 students, and then another 29 charged. Family members of the perpetrators threatened the victims, warning them that they should watch out. And one of the parents of one of the offenders said, "Why should we feel sorry for the victim's family? Why don't you consider our suffering? Who can resist temptation when girls are trying to seduce boys? They should have taught their daughters how to behave in order to avoid this kind of accident." And so nothing really happened.
I would have went old boy on all those parents. Yeah, me?
When someone was like, "Bring your 13-year-old daughter," or sister, I'd be like, "Here is my knife that I call my 13-year-old sister."
Yeah,
right. And nothing really happened to them. Apparently, like there was nothing really done. There were so many of them, and but what happened recently was,
were they like Chebol protected or something?
They're from like a Shigor, right? Is it a Shigor?
Yeah,
they're like from the countryside. And what happened was recently, Baek Jong-won, the celebrity chef Baek Jong-won, he went to a restaurant, and like kind of Gordon Ramsay, but he's like a nice guy. And I guess somebody noticed that one of the people working at the restaurant was one of those fucking guys from 20 years ago, because none of them ever got punished. And then
none of them got punished?
Well, maybe like a slap on the wrist or something. But what happened then is there's like a vigilante out there releasing the photos and details of all these fucking rapists.
Right. Wow.
And like 20 years later, they're all being suffered.
I thought you said there was an old boy out there. I was like, yes.
What's with... Oh, is that the person releasing all the photos? Is the rabbit guy?
That might be the rabbit guy. But
I was like, where does this rabbit guy come in, please?
I mean, even on Reddit...
This is like The Glory, but worse.
Yeah, this is worse than The Glory, yeah. And you can see their pictures, their faces have been like blurred or whatever.
So it's still up there on YouTube.
Is it still on YouTube?
I mean, he said he refuses to put it down, so I don't know.
Well, but it was on Reddit yesterday.
Okay.
Or
where are the
faces hosted?
I don't know, but I saw it on Reddit yesterday. I was going to share the Reddit here, but it's already removed by Reddit because it showed their faces.
It's too late.
A lot of these are like good-looking dudes too.
Well.
And they look like, and...
But why was it taken down? Because of the...
I don't know why they took it down, though.
Korea? I doubt that.
They don't even have Reddit in Korea, right?
No, they do.
They can access it.
Yeah, it's not illegal, but, Korea has their own, DC Inside and Ilben, whatever.
Oh, we need to get our hands on those photos because I'm making a video.
You want
all those fuckers.
So you get a lot of.
If it was on Reddit, it's on the internet.
We can probably get.
I think it's there on DuckDuckGo or something, right?
Oh, so here's some of them.
Wayback Machine. You can find it.
Pretty.
You can definitely find it if it's on the Wayback Machine.
Right, some of the dudes.
Wait, so they're all like our age now?
Probably.
No, they're
older?
See, I think they were like born in like probably 86, so they're probably like around 18 then. So they're probably like 38 now. 36, 37, 38-ish. So yeah.
But this was like, so you're saying it's like outside of Seoul then, like some countryside.
Yeah, it's
fucking Shigor Sekider.
Country bastards, huh? So let's see where it is. Actually, I never really looked where. Is it Miryangshi?
Did they ever
it's not like a up or kun.
Did they ever say like what the motivation was? Like
so far.
Like how do you coordinate 120? Hey guys,
for 11 months.
120 guys. Let's all go rape people.
It's kind of near Busan.
How does that even like happen?
Between Daegu and Busan. So that's where it happened.
That's crazy.
And
the bullying that happens in Korea alone is like terrifying in schools.
When you watch
you watch it in Korean dramas and stuff and you're like, that's crazy.
The Glory, right?
But it's like it's real. All that stuff is based on real shit.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah. And You know, I think, yeah, like, you know how a lot of times Korean criminals, they never show their face? Like,
They don't.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
of privacy
But here
laws.
they do.
yeah, but I think, I don't
Because
know.
the privacy laws are really strict in Korea. Like even when what was that guy's name? Won Suk Yu or whatever.
Yongwon-suk?
No, the
Won-yong-suk?
the no the
Chundawan's grandson?
no the
Chundawan?
mama guy on TikTok.
Mama.
There's this Korean TikToker
Queen?
who's literally like top 3 most followed
Oh,
TikTokers.
that fucking guy.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
looks like an innocent boy,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's
He
like,
was raping
His
people
whole
too,
shtick
right?
was that on every video he
Yeah.
goes, "Mama," and he acts like this like innocent
He
child.
had a huge
He
following.
literally
right?
was, I think, the most
You
followed
talked about
person
it
on
in your
TikTok.
Instagram,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And yeah, like they covered his face even, and it was only because he's so famous that people were like, "Yeah, we can tell who that is." We think even through the blurring, we can tell who that is.
You know, they'll protect you if you're rapist.
I think they didn't
but,
even blur
if
him.
You
Some
talk,
of the articles didn't even blur.
if you talk
blur
positively
him.
on
Yeah.
North Korea, they'll plaster
he was
your
too-
face.
But
he was
all
too
over.
in
famous.
South Korean ones, they do have to blur them because of privacy laws. Until they're convicted,
Yeah, until they're
you
convicted.
can't show their face.
Or unless
you know
you're a
that
political prisoner.
The nth room thing, they showed the face of those Telegram guys, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think they should show more of the. Yeah, they shouldn't
Well, he's gonna make a TikTok video for us, so
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
expose them all to.
130? They were in middle school.
Yeah, let's all do it. TikTok.
well, I don't use
Just
TikTok.
Anyway, that's what
burn
happened
them.
there,
Just
like-
burn the whole village.
But the thing is, like, why? You know, it's like the fact that nothing really happened to these guys. I mean,
'Cause they weren't
it's
tried
such an
in-
egregious thing, and yet it's like,
So they
Well, I
weren't-
think like
They probably were like, "Oh, boys will be boys."
well, also like it was the countryside, and you know, even though yes, Korea's very modernized now, a lot of the places outside of Seoul or
outside of Seoul is really kind of
country
Country.
side.
an arrest warrant out of the 44 perpetrators, an arrest warrant was applied for only 3.
that's crazy.
That's what happened.
But they're accusing 100 plus
None of
people.
the
having-
fathers just killed them all.
I don't know. I think, yeah. And the thing is, what about these police? Like, what's up with the police there? You know, like,
I mean, police in general are
I
pretty
guarantee.
corrupt. In
I
South
guarantee
Korea.
you,
They
one
are
of those
very
boys
corrupt.
was the son of a police officer, and that's why none of them got in trouble.
I'm sure multiple.
If not multiple,
Yeah.
but at least one.
apparently there's a movie called Hangongju, which is a
It's just about this.
2013 drama film, which is inspired by this gang rape case from 2004. So maybe, you know, something to check out.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, these fucking rapists, man, like, I can't believe they let all these teenage boys get away with this, and then now they're like living normal lives. One of them is like a BMW salesman or something, right?
Well,
he works at a car dealership, and
Thanks to Ed, they will not be living normal lives much
Dear
longer.
BMW.
yeah. So, I mean, apparently like, those guys have already lost their jobs, but yeah, like, and you know, they're like married. Some of them even have their own daughters,
my
and nothing ever happened to them. So I don't
They
know.
were not tried in court when this happened. Right?
Could you
Pretty
imagine
much.
finding out that was your father was one of those people?
Yeah,
Imagine
they should know what their fathers have
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
that's
so-
disgusting.
It is fucking gross. Anyway, I hope they all get punished. I hope their lives are ruined for what they've done. And I hope in the future, you know, if something like this happens, the police will, you know, actually do something.
Definitely would have gotten different treatment up in the north.
Yeah, they, from what I understand, they execute rapists there. That's what.
Whether they're even a minor.
They do that here. It's called prison justice.
Right, yeah. It's outsourced to the other inmates, yeah.
You're a rapist of children. You will not survive.
Yeah, I heard that the inmates hate
But
them
how
the
do they
most.
how do they find that out? Like, how do the other inmates find that out?
Word spread out, I guess.
Word
right?
spread sometimes.
Like, why don't you be like, oh, I killed someone?
You can, but it eventually gets out at some point.
Yeah, it'll get out.
Someone who knows you, who's seen your story, will come in and be like something. Yeah.
So 44 boys raped one girl, junior high, for an entire year. Wow.
Yeah, that's how many
44 boys.
How many counts of rape? Like, we're talking hundreds, maybe thousands of rape
Oh my God, is that
thousands of rapes
is that
occurred.
woman still alive?
From what I recall, she says she wants them to suffer.
Yeah,
right?
so these boys are all born in between 86
How did
and
it come
88.
out again? Like, oh, because of that TV show or whatever. It was like a.
Yes, because he went to the restaurant, and that restaurant
Wait,
where
was
that
this restaurant was in Solden, or was it in the same?
I don't know where it was,
area?
but somebody noticed him, and apparently the guy, the rapist, it's not his restaurant; it was his uncle's restaurant or something like that.
So this show aired, and someone was like, "Wait, that guy."
Yeah, right. Somebody noticed. That's what I read. That somebody noticed him on that
That
TV
guy is
show.
also crazy too, to even notice it right off the bat like that, right?
Maybe it was one of the girls. Who knows? Yeah,
Possibly.
I don't know. And Paek Jong-won didn't know anything about this. Little
He's
did
just,
he know.
he's just doing good stuff left and right without even meaning
You know
to.
Paek Jong-won, right? He has like
It's a
restaurants.
jjajangmyeon restaurant here.
Yeah, but out of all these
Hong Kong
44
Banjang.
people, nobody
Yeah.
got punished.
This guy.
Who is this girl? I mean,
Oh, well, it kind of looks familiar.
He literally is the Korean.
there's a restaurant
Gordon
here
Ramsay.
at
or like
Alexandria.
Jamie
right?
Oliver or
No,
something.
he's way more Gordon Ramsay than Jamie Oliver.
Gordon Ramsay.
He's so
Are
popular.
you in a stupid sandwich?
But there seems to be apparently a
An idiot
ringleader
sandwich.
for this
Idiot
rape.
sandwich.
You know, there was a ringleader.
There always is. But that jjajangmyeon restaurant's actually pretty good.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Really, I like Young King more. Is it better than
I
Young
haven't
King?
been to Young King,
should go.
but
Young King's
Drag-
good?
favorite one.
We love it
Dragon
there.
Restaurant.
It's my favorite one.
Dragon Restaurant used to be my go-to, as it was for many of us.
I thought it was okay. Dragon's okay.
But in the last like 5 years, they went significantly downhill before they
I
closed.
think the original owner, Mr. Wong. I
yeah,
don't
he,
think
he sold it.
Wang-
I don't
Wang
think he was
Dok-jung.
working there.
No, he
yeah.
wasn't.
No.
He was not working
His son
there for
used
a
to
while.
work here, by the way.
Oh, really?
Joseph.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
I think Hungnegak is also pretty okay. No?
House of Joy, right?
Is it? I don't know.
Hungnegak. Anyway, yeah, that's a good one too.
I hear Zamong and
You said
Jamong.
what? You said
Jamong.
what?
Jamon
is
is
also pretty good,
also okay.
Jamong is good
Where's
if you
the
want the
best?
spicy.
It's good if you want the spice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not into that.
Which
do
place
love
did you
spicy.
Young
recommend?
King, Young King.
Where is that at, Young King?
It's like an
Oh, you mean-
Olympic.
Hey,
and,
on Olympic, where we go?
Uh,
Was it Harvard or?
Oh, Yeongyang, Yeongyang.
Yeongyang, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeongyang
in
Yeongyang.
English.
Okay, okay.
Where I saw Bobby Lee. Yeah.
my heart breaks every time I drive here because I
It
have
is
to
good.
drive past Dongiljang.
Oh.
Dongiljang.
Yeah, and I'm
Dongiljang
always
closed
like,
down, right?
it looks so sad now.
It is.
It's
it
like
is sad.
overgrown.
That was the
and
longest
graffiti.
restaurant, right?
Yeah,
that
I
was
love
the
that
longest
place.
history restaurant.
Roskui with the kimchi,
Yeah.
the bokkeumbap at the end. The owner's daughter used to babysit me in middle school. Yeah,
Seems
I
like
got connections all over K-Town, man.
Seems like-
he's the king of Korea.
Their
King
UKIP
of
bibimbap
K-Town.
was
He's
also
the king
really
of
good there
K-Town.
too.
Now he runs Radio Korea. You know,
Yeah.
he's-
yeah, seems like this raper restaurant is
Raper.
super popular.
Rapist.
Raper restaurant.
This rapist.
Raper restaurant.
restaurant. It's popular. It seems like it's doing good. You know, well.
Where is it? It's in Seoul?
Apparently,
Or is
you
it-
know, opposite to what you wish happens to him. It's doing pretty
well,
okay.
it's not.
Well,
it's not the
it's
owner's
the uncle.
fault.
Machib. It's a machib.
He didn't know.
What's
you
it called?
No, it doesn't show
It's
them.
called Hungnegak?
No, it just says it's doing well.
Gangan
Yeah, it's one of the popular ones.
Gangan Bunshik.
Motherfucker. Did his uncle fire him? I hope so. Actually, that restaurant should be fired because there's no way that uncle didn't know when it happened.
Well, according to this
Yeah, I
article,
don't know.
he himself, he's operating the restaurant, so I don't know which one is true.
Anyway,
Burn it
And for
down.
our last topic,
yeah. For shit, we gotta really
This
buzz
is
through this real quick.
Outrageous.
So
got a
China,
little over.
China has banned something else once again. What is with China always banning things, huh?
What
Do you
did
know what
they-
they banned this time?
What did they ban?
You guys are going to be outraged at what China has banned.
Video game.
China is banning wealth flaunting behavior on social media.
Oh,
How
so
dare
like, so rappers would be all banned. I would.
No,
think, right?
okay, so online
is-
influencers showing their luxurious lifestyles are disappearing from Chinese social media amid a government crackdown on conspicuous displays of wealth. One of them, Wang Hongquan, had claimed that he owns 7 properties in Beijing and that he never left the house in an outfit worth less than 1.38 million US dollars. Videos that he posted showed his maids, his numerous Hermes handbags, and expensive sports cars that he purchased. And on Tuesday, his account on Douyin was inaccessible to his 4.3 million followers. And it said it had been blocked due to violations of Douyin's
Hey,
community
what is that
guidelines.
Chinese version of TikTok? Isn't
Yeah.
TikTok Chinese? Why
Douyin,
is
Right,
that?
it's called Douyin.
Douyin?
And the accounts of other
that is how they say
influencers, such as Bo Gongzi, young wealthy Lord Bai, and Bao Jiji, Abelon's sister, were also blocked. So China's Cyberspace Administration announced they want to have a campaign against influencers to create a wealth flaunting persona, deliberately showcasing a luxurious life built on money in order to attract followers and traffic. You know, what do you think about this? You know,
what if you live in like a mansion? Are you not allowed to show your mansion anymore?
Like
or is it like this, like, hey,
law,
look at my 30 Ferraris isn't allowed?
I think, one? Yeah, that's kind of a...
What if you do like a mukbang in front of your 30 Ferraris?
I think it's like basically dependent on how hard you're flexing, you know?
Isn't this the same way as how they banned all the feminine-looking entertainers on TV?
Yeah.
Like they banned them, right? You didn't know that? Yeah, China banned it. Banned
like
feminine-looking, any
sissy girl guy.
Any, you know, non-alpha or something like that.
Basically,
they're all
like,
banned.
it's kind of like anti-woke.
So there's like no Asian men on Chinese TV?
Is it like...
No, like, basically anything that's like super flamboyant and like, you know...
Is it anti-K-pop too a little bit, right? A lot of K-pop bands.
It might be, because now they're trying to probably... Well, they're
probably
trying to promote their own... I think that's probably just they're trying to promote their own
I
music.
see this as an extension of that.
Perhaps, I don't know. But anyway...
This is more like, you know, they're a socialist country. They don't want people to like, you know, rub it in other people's faces.
But China is kind of liberal now, right? I think they're changing.
They're becoming less liberal. They're becoming,
because after Xi Jinping, but before Xi Jinping,
they become liberalized because of the reforms. They wanted to look.
I could definitely see China not wanting the masses to know that there's like uber rich Chinese people.
Probably.
For sure.
I mean, they know that they exist, but it's just like it feels like now they're flexing on people.
Well, I don't think they want us to know how rich. You know what I mean? Like,
you mean Americans?
Yeah, or like just anyone outside of China.
I think it's okay. My understanding would probably be that, you know, I think it's kind of in bad taste if you got like a Lamborghini and then you roll through Compton and start showing off or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think...
Well, it's also like...
That's what I mean.
It's like, you know, you are a communist country. You're trying to like not have that sort of thing, you know, ruin the morale of your citizens.
That's what I mean.
It's like we're trying to build towards an, you know...
Oh, yeah, for internal citizens, too.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean, obviously...
This would cause disruption.
I think
this would cause discontent.
It would cause disruption because people would be... what do you say?
A lot
they would
of
feel
people
jealous towards them.
But
a lot of people
China just cured diabetes, so...
Is it true?
Yeah.
I mean, they were able to...
Pharmaceutical companies are blocking that treatment.
They were able to cure a case of type 2 diabetes, not type 1, but...
type 2 is the acquired one, right?
I think type 1 is the more serious one, I think.
Okay.
That's when your body doesn't produce insulin.
Type 1 is typically genetic.
You're born with it, genetic.
Yeah, type 2...
Type 2 is most people who has
lifestyle.
it, right? Yeah,
Isn't like Russia also like curing cancer or something?
But...
Hey, there's a lot of drugs out there that
we got to wrap up real quick, but you look at the comments here on Yahoo, a lot of them are in support of China here. Can we do that here? Social media is ruining an entire generation, you know, blah, blah, blah. What else? Communism notwithstanding, there are some cultural traits that the West could learn from China in regards to modesty. The real reason for this is because the China economy has collapsed and many aren't employed and they don't want the unemployed to see how some others are doing well, which leads to resentment,
These are all
anger.
definitely Chinese
Do you
people,
think there's some point to that too,
China.
or ridiculous, Doug or Michael?
I mean, I think the quote unquote falling economy of China is very overstated.
You mean the evergreen real estate? Evergrande.
Yeah, that's very overstated. That's just like hurting people who speculate on real estate. That's not really hurting the average Chinese citizen. The average Chinese citizen is actually improving their lifestyle because there's actually deflationary pressure going on right now with China, so their money is actually going farther.
China is doing well because if you look at the world economy, number one is apparently America, 25% of the entire GDP, and China is
in terms of
China is number 2.
That is just so tacky.
China
is
18%.
Hey, show this. This is okay. This is crossing a line clearly.
They're pushing it, right?
Yeah.
That is so. It's not even like. Yeah, that's so tacky.
Hey, when you look at that, they're like capitalist country, right? Right?
Well,
when you look at.
Well, it's
so I guess the communists are trying to rein them in, huh? Anyway,
yeah,
that's for.
Don't show them how good it is over here.
That's it for. I mean, all you got to do is look at like Shanghai or Chongqing or all these like crazy cities now.
Shenzhen.
It just looks so Shenzhen. Right? They look really nice.
I'm just like,
yeah.
holy shit.
More than
I mean, what about all those videos where they're like, this is
like,
one of
go
the
back to
richest
China?
cities in the world?
Sure, yes, please.
Like Shanghai is
All right.
shinier than New York, right?
It's actually pretty hard to get
Everything
citizenship.
is shinier than New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right. That's true. New York is
dirty.
going
All
down.
right, guys. That's it for today.
All right.
We covered, props to the CPC, CCP, whatever, for doing that to the influencers. And, hope the rapists get all, doxxed and whatever and punished. And
Oh, we should talk about the Korean guy next time who's going to jail for 10 years.
the Lamborghini thing? Okay, yeah.
fireworks,
We'll do that on the next one. And, thanks all for joining us. And, we'll see you on the next one, guys.
Thank you very much.
All
Bye-bye.
right, peace.
What about the Korean guy? What happened?
There's a Korean guy.
Who's on trial right now for shooting fireworks in the middle of the desert.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
Alex
in America,
Troy.
though, right?
Yeah,
At the Lamborghini, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's like going viral, that news.
That's
Yeah, I'll be right
so
back.
dumb.